So we got this the flipbook playing here. So, you know, it's not too bad. We got some movement going on. Obviously not so much detail yet until we push down the resolution and play around with the values. It's a bit slow. We got this smoke kind of trailing off the side that doesn't really look natural. It's kind of, you know, it looks like steam, which doesn't really make sense. But it's a good start. One thing I want to do while we're playing around with this, we jump inside here and first of all turn that off, cut it off below 0. And also if we just check this max size, now we'll just clip it down so that we can get some quicker iterations. Can even make it a bit smaller, probably like, I don't know, 5. That might be a bit much. That's fine. So I just want to test out this this gas curve force. So what we could do is go into the sourcing and set the scale of the velocity to 0 temporarily. Just make sure that the curve force is actually working and doing something, right? So just press play on that and we can see something kind of happening. But not much. Not much of a push there, it looks like. So let's try pushing the values up. Let's go inside. And yeah, I'm most interested in kind of this orbit thing, right? So let's like push, I don't know, just set it to 10. Well, what we could do actually, let's set that to 1. Split this left and right. And then pin both of these. So set that to 1 and this to something else. It doesn't really matter about what's going on in the viewport here. And then out here, go into the pop curve force, press P to get that. And then you can see they're pretty much the same. And I'm just going to start by setting the values the same, right? 2.5. We don't have mass attributes here. So the follow scale, got 5, suction 3, orbits 10, and then this velocity 1. Okay, and then these fall offs, let's copy them as well. Okay, this one, let's do that. Orbital fall off. Okay. And velocity is like that. And then the shaping, yeah, see we got this kind of funny shape. If you look at the, if I come back here, you can see the force is kind of not being applied down at the bottom at the start. So if I raise this up, you can see we get that now. That's much better. Okay, let me get rid of that now. Now let's play a few frames. And again, like I said, come back out here to see some shadowing. Okay, maybe something happening now. It's hard to tell, really. I'll get a few more frames. Let me just check. I haven't got the. Oh, yeah. Didn't think the lighting was on. So let's just watch that. Yeah, so as I suspected, there's kind of, I feel like that's going in the wrong direction. So our particles, if we look at the velocity, you can see they're traveling in this direction, clockwise. And then I think this is going in the opposite direction. So the particles are going like that, but I feel like the smoke's going in the other direction. Yeah, you can see there's some kind of double, you know, the particles trying to push them one way, well, the sourcing is going one way, and then that curve force, you can see there actually the lines, it's going in the opposite direction. Okay, so easy remedy for that, just to come in here into our individual forces and set that orbit scale to -10. And let's see if that looks much different. There we go. So you can see that switch now. These lines down here, you can see them going the other way. And you get, yeah, that looks better now. You get the sense of that corkscrewing kind of effect. Right, I guess they were kind of fighting against each other before. So that's great. We could turn this back on, and it was going a bit slow before, so I'm going to push that up. Set that scale to 2, so doubling the forces coming in there. Let's see here. Let's add some turbulence to this. I'm going to push this up pretty high too. And if we go into the turbulence tab here, you can see the influence field is temperature. We don't have any temperature, so I'm going to change this to density and bring the swirl size down to 0.2. 1 is quite big. And disturbance, we'll leave it as it is. Okay, let's dive inside here. Just to make sure that we don't get smoke. You know, in that flipbook, we had some smoke kind of being escaping out. So we'll push the suction scale up. By the way, yeah, these forces seem to be fine. The smoke is going up and being sucked in. So we don't need to reverse. I'm not sure why it needs to be reversed, but it does. So we'll do that. And also maybe if we increase this, I'll do 4.5. You can see, so, you know, any smoke kind of escaping out here still has a force kind of pulling it in. I don't want those kind of bit of smoke coming out here, or density, and just kind of sitting still in the air. It doesn't make sense in the context of a tornado, right? What I would probably do is have a couple of different simulations, you know, one for the ground, for bits swirling around, maybe another one for the wider area, you know, with kind of debris and stuff in it as well. You also have this division size up here, which is the kind of resolution of that velocity coming in. 0.1 is fine, I think, but you can play around with that. Okay, let's dive outside here, and I'm going to give ourselves some more resolution. Go back into my camera and just run a flipbook of a few frames here. Looks like we're losing a lot of detail here. You can see here, you know, we just kind of got these concentric lines going round. I feel like what's happening is, you know, we're not seeing the turbulence. And that's because I think that this is kind of overwriting everything. You can see, you know, it's kind of smoothing it out. Remember that division size, you know, that's giving me a clue in that, you know, it kind of looks too smooth. So we need to blend between the two. So I think if we drop this down, this air resistance, you can think of it like a, you know, how strongly this is going to take effect on your simulation. Let's just maybe just quickly grab a few frames of that, and hopefully then we can cache it out. Okay, I'm just going to stop it there. Yeah, you see, I feel like we're getting more detail now, getting that noise coming through the turbulence. So I'm going to go back to the start, grab a file cache. Okay, and remember for the export, we don't need temperature, flame, or color. We do want the rest. Make sure to turn off this max size. Okay, and as many frames as you want. I'll go, yeah, I'll probably get, you know, just the 240 would be fine. Save them into your HIP file. So yeah, go to HIP, sim, another folder, tornado. Okay, paste that, and then you want $F3 dot Impegio, and yeah, volume is pretty heavy, so I'll do SC. Okay, save your file and save that to disk.